Hi everybody, this is your pal Hops and Scotch with Natural Tortoise Keepers here, and this is, if you've been following along our recent, I'm going to say rescue or rehome, as she's a purchased animal named lovely Marilyn. She of course has some severe pyramiding and dryness and even some crooked scutes. We love her so either way, and she's adjusting to life after her quarantine period and the rehoming of the other male, as I simply don't want two males. I can't keep two males. That chemistry, if you follow along, just check out a few other videos, you'll hear my opinions. But Marilyn here, I've been clipping and working at her beak and just working it down because it was actually like almost lower, or maybe even lower than her bottom jaw. If you've checked out a few of the old videos, when I first got her, I gave it a quick clipping because I just simply couldn't leave it. In my opinion, if you're feeding a proper diet of natural foraged weeds and a genuine proper diet, whether it be a redfoot and that inclusion of fruit, or a sulcata and a leopard and their main source of diet being a grass, but if you have a Mediterranean or a Greek or a Herman's tortoise, such as this, like weeds, plants, and flowers, if they're eating a proper weeds, their beak, oh please don't spill dirt on my carpet, their beak is gonna look like that. Like that is a cuttlefish killer right there. Our pal March, she's a lovely. These characters after quarantine have joined this small bookcase, and this is small, but it's it will be just a winter to get us to the spring setup, unfortunately, for this year. And I say unfortunately because I mean it. This is the smallest space you'll ever see me keeping a tortoise. But Marilyn here, she truly does need a clipping and a trim. Like, this is just out of this world. I love her, but so it's even so overgrown that the side pieces, I don't know proper terming, is overgrowing her jaw. So her bottom jaw is not going to be forming the same and not going to be meeting like a lipping, like you want her to look like your grandpa, like your great grandpa, like in the home. Like that's what you want them to look like. If they've got a beak like a parrot, you need to question the proteins in their diet. You need to question, like, are you feeding them on the proper surface? On like a rough slate, or at least a terracotta. I like terracotta, I find it easy to clean. But slate, if they could make me a slate bowl, Natural Tortoise Keepers patent pending, working on it. But without further ado, I truly have to just deal with this tortoise. There's Marilyn. She's like a 1.2 kg tortoise. She's the biggest Herman's tortoise I've ever held or owned. A lot of my experiences are me going through them a first time alone, or having just friends to reach out online to. But following along, I've learned that clipping is the best to do the majority of the work. It's quick snip. If you're not into the bone of a tortoise's, a clipping can go very easily, but you have to remember they do have a jawbone on either line, just like us, after all. So without further ado, I just absolutely hate this. And I use that on my dog's nails, and it works for that. But the best trick for a tortoise is hang upside down slightly. They will extend their head if you just pause and wait. And then that's the worst part of it, is catching them and now holding their head, being in control of the situation, and not allowing them to retract. This is where I find a smooth surface works better than a rough surface. We will choose this mid-grade dremel and see if we can just give this a light filing into place, and that works really good. That works better than I thought it would. It's already a big change. There we are. We needed that mouth to open, and it's almost just a slight bit too big. I know that's wrecking our viewpoint, but that's the way it needs to. I don't condone this to anyone. I believe a vet should do this if you don't feel confident in doing this. And I also would highly recommend just feeding your tortoise a proper diet off of a proper surface, and this won't have to happen to your tortoise because this is absolutely awful. And PETA, I'm sure, is gonna love this video. So this is getting, oops, sorry. And like I love tortoises so much that for me to do this to me is like, after I'm gonna be wiping my brow and shaking my head. This is only due to an improper diet. So we'll just set that down. Because this, you'll find a tortoise is gonna urinate. She's gonna, like, even sometimes they poop because this is trauma to them. This is not normal. This is not easy. Those people that comment and say, oh, I take my tortoise to the vet every year because I feed iceberg lettuce. Well, guess what? I say to that, you're awful and you suck. So here I am fixing multiple owners. That's the worst part about this tortoise. And I'm just finding, see, even their bottom jaw starts to hook inwards if you look. And I think that's where we may leave this because I'm going to call this enough trauma to Marilyn. Their bottom jaw is strong, but it shouldn't be hooking inwards and it shouldn't have such a point to it like that. Like they're not getting proper bites. That means that their bottom beak is affecting into their top jaw. And what's worse is when you see a tortoise that would have an overgrown bottom jaw, or someone saying, oh, I would like to trim my tortoise's bottom beak. That means metabolic bone disorder. Oops, I didn't mean to touch your eye there, Marilyn. I'm sorry. So Marilyn already, just from that there, that is a degree and better in here. So I'm hoping that that will allow her to work down her side bits just in a few coming days. Because that's a trauma that, like, when you do that to a tortoise, they hate change. That, like, this is horrible to do. Like, if you would just feed off, when I say terracotta, like, this is like $2. And that would avoid you having to do that to your tortoise. Like, they just eat off this $2. Or, there's slate tiles. Like, you can get that at the hardware store or, like, the masonry store. You wouldn't have to do this to your tortoise. Like she's already retracting very much. Like, she's just not comfortable, obviously. But look at how different. I can't wait to do a before and after of just one small filing. This will be a process, y'all. So, like, that's our gal there. Here we are. And look at how, there's Dash. She's been fed off of a rough surface her entire life. Look at how smooth and slow growing in her side beaks are, like that jaw piece we'll say, instead of hooking and overgrown. And oh my goodness, I need to get my eyes checked. This is Scooter here. So Scooter has had some beak trimming and now I'm not even noticing. So his has been worked back in so well. Sorry, I just grabbed that so quick. My apologies, everyone. We'll get Dash. His Dash is a beak model. And oh, she's going to be a big girl. She really hooked herself in there. I love that. She's really happy there. But, so there she is. She is a beak model. That's what you want out of a tortoise's beak. Is, look how nice that is. For that nice smooth and everything about, like, her side bits. I don't know what that actually is called. Time to learn. But those side bits are just beautiful. And her beak matches her bottom jaw in order for her to just work that thing. Whereas Marilyn the rehome, that is a work in progress. My goodness. This is your pal, Hobson Scotch Natural Tortoise Keepers. Kind of calling that more than enough today. Signing off.